Hi, my name is Lisa Robyn Wood and I'm the founder of Grip Corporate Coaching, coaching and training for leaders, managers and individuals in London and Oxfordshire. I was recently told about the way in which the Brexit negotiating team in the UK worked together on the most recent Brexit deal that was secured just before the end of 2020. And one of the methods that the negotiating team used was actually listening together to music and using music as a motivator and a support during the really challenging negotiations that were taking place. Interestingly, the UK Brexit negotiation team listened to the Les Miserables soundtrack, so the famous musical. And one of the tracks that they really found to be the most powerful was One Day More, which for any of you who have seen the musical, is one of my favourites, will recognise as being such an incredibly powerful, moving, emotional, uplifting song and a really key moment in the musical itself. So I loved listening and learning about this story because it really resonated with me and how much I find music to be a huge motivator, especially when it comes to enabling me to transition into a more productive mental state. So this is actually known as anchoring. And music, as well as visuals, and actually also touch, can be incredibly powerful anchors to move our state of mind away from a space of unhelpfulness, negativity, into the opposite, to enable us to behave, feel more helpfully to ourselves at a given moment. So, for example, music has always been a huge passion of mine, and I would say music is a soundtrack to my life. I can think of lots of different tracks, as I'm sure you can. I can think about the fact that Coldplay is one of my all-time favourite bands, and their album X and Y always reminds me of my last year at university. And Fix You especially, which, I know they can be a bit Marmite and some people love or hate it, but that song always reminds me of finishing my third year and a whole chapter in my life changing, and all the feelings I felt at the time. I was excited, I was anxious. It will always take me back there. So there are songs in that respect, but there are songs that I have utilised specifically to support me at times of challenge. So, for example, another favourite band of mine is Elbow, and there is a song of theirs called Magnificent, and I discovered this song when I was listening to that particular album when it was launched, which I think was early 2017. And at the time I was deciding to change my job. I was trying to change companies, and therefore I was set up for a couple of different interviews, and I would listen to Magnificent as part of my preparations, part of my interview prep. And I recall listening to it and going on walks just before the interviews took place and really feeling completely connected to myself, feeling focused, feeling capable, feeling really strong. And that got me into the perfect mental state to go into those interview scenarios, those high pressured, very intense, quite obviously nerve-wracking scenarios. Now, interestingly, that song always takes me back to how powerful and capable I felt in those moments before the interview. And actually, I didn't get all of the roles that I interviewed for. So despite the fact that the outcome wasn't necessarily positive, doesn't take away from the power of the song. And eventually I did get a job, and it was the right job for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed that job. So the point I'm making is that it doesn't matter that actually the outcome that relates to that song doesn't always, or hasn't always, ended positively for me. The fact is how that song made me feel when I heard it, and it still does actually. And I have such positive memories as well as feelings when I hear it, because I find it so uplifting. So I really couldn't recommend music and songs as anchors enough. to really help you get into a helpful, productive mental state, especially at the moment, obviously, why things are so challenging for us. And we continue to be away from one another in our own four walls. And I think finding different ways to inspire us is really helpful. So pick your song and give it a go. So a song which enables you to feel positive, that you find uplifting. It may have good memories associated to it already. But try using it then when you are in moments where you're feeling demotivated, helpless, down, maybe anxious even, and you need some energising. And just see how you find it. If you want to learn more about me, about grip, then visit me at gripcoaching.co.uk, and I'd love to hear how you're finding music and songs as anchors. So contact me there or drop the comments below in the video. Thanks.